Next up, we have Nick Dunn and Matt Summers from NCC Group.
Thanks.
That's the end of the last talk. Shut up.
Hi, I'm Matt Summers from NCC Group. I'm a principal consultant, and we're here to present the use of game theory with the attack framework to produce better attack and defense strategies.
And have I just switched that off?
There's a blackout.
Okay, and I'm Nick Dunn, also of NCC Group, working with Matt more in the offensive security kind of fields where we break things for fun and then give people a patronising report on what to fix. This all began not so long ago when this is currently a work in progress for a white paper that we're going to publish in the short to medium term future. And it began quite recently when I released a paper on the economics of defence, which measured the costs of a breach compared to the costs of actually building in proper defences. And recently, shortly after that was published, Matt got in touch with me at work and said, "Have you thought this could be done so much better with game theory instead of money?" And I explained that most of the audience were more interested in money than mathematics, but said I had recently done something with game theory in terms of looking at how botnets detection or evasion could be improved. This conversation rapidly escalated into a series of whiteboard sessions, and the two of us deciding that if we were going to look at game theory, we could sort of measure where resources for defence could best be distributed. And we thought the attack framework was the best way to do that in terms of coming up with these key points in the stages of the game that we were looking at. Quick crash course for anyone not familiar with game theory.
Hit the arrows.
It's defined as the study of mathematical models of strategic interaction between rational decision makers, which might sound complicated, but it's something that was developed in the 1940s by John von Neumann, who's probably more familiar to most people here for his pioneering work in the use of digital computers. But basically what it does is to come up with a series of mathematical way of measuring decisions that can be made by two cooperating or non-cooperating participants in decisions. And this really took off first in the field of economics and eventually started to become used more often in military strategy. And both Matt and I thought this could map quite well onto analysing the way two non-cooperating participants would undergo a cyber attack from the terms of the attacker and defender. There's a few different types of game theory, which Matt's about to talk about.
Sorry, Nick. So when we talk about the economics of this, typically we're thinking about sort of the buying and selling of products or marketing. What we're really interested in is understanding the payoff or what's called utility. Now, what you'd be familiar with if you've seen any game theory is Prisoner's Dilemma, which is a normal form game. But what we're interested in is an extensive form game where the players are non-cooperative, so therefore they're competing. I'm just going to take a little digression into something from a very famous military strategist called Karl von Clausewitz. And he said, "Doctrine is a guide to anyone who wants to learn about war from its books. It will light their way, it will ease their progress and train their judgment and help avoid pitfalls. Doctrine is meant to educate the minds of the future commanders and not accompany them into the battlefields. And this is where we see attack coming in. So an attacker has a goal, right? They want to get information, they want to use your resources. So we decided to use attack because it's a framework for describing the chain. So consider mapping to attack a spear phishing attack. So how does the attacker guarantee success? What are the strategies or tactics they can employ to reach their end goal? So what we want to understand is the utility, which is quite difficult for us to define. So both players are considered to have imperfect and incomplete information. Therefore, so they don't know anything about their strategies, their payoffs, or anything about what each other player does. So Nick mentioned a rational player. There's no such thing as a rational player. This is stereotyping bias. But if we reference Emily's slides yesterday, what we would like to do is take that methodology and understand the costs and the payouts for each of the players so that we can better either define better strategies for defending or attacking a network.